Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do something a little different, kind of just a little bit of a cookie to add to your entertainment. Uh, if anyone watched the state of the channel for 2026, I talked about how I was looking to finish a bunch more games this year, and I was working on a challenge for one of the podcasts I listened to. And I've decided that because this channel is a very big variety content channel, I just figured I'd just give you a supplemental video. No, like, pressure to watch, but, like, I just want to throw out a supplemental video of the games that I've been playing in the first quarter of 2026. As of recording this audio now, it is the beginning of March. I just wanted to get a jump start on this, so if the audio changes and shifts at the end of the video, that's why, because it's the end of March now and I'm recording the rest of it. So, let's get into this. If you have something to do, this is kind of the perfect video to literally stick on your second monitor and ignore completely. So, start level grinding, start playing with your deck. Got reputations to grind? Here's the way to do it. And just let me entertain you guys for a few minutes while I talk about what games I've been playing. So, as of now, which this recording is early March, um, all of the games that I have played are actually for the uh, Polykill podcast backlog challenge. So, what is this challenge? Basically, they usually do every year. They do some sort of challenge to get you to kind of finish your games because as anyone who probably watches any of the backlog videos knows, it's very hard to finish your backlog, especially like that weird halfway point of the year where you're just filled with choice paralysis. You don't know what you want to play, so then you just load up World of Warcraft for the 14th millionth time, or a round of Overwatch or something like that. So they've always done a little bit of a challenge. Since I started listening to them, they've done bingo, where they have a couple bingo boards and you just kind of pick your games and choose and you go through that. This year they decided to do something a little different and they made a board game kind of thing with different challenges and you want to go across the board. Some people are playing loose with the rules where they're kind of playing it like bingo, where they're going to try to connect the paths later, but for right now they're just picking and choosing what they want and playing it. I, on the other hand, decided to get really stubborn, and I am following the rules to a T. So, what does that mean? The rules are that if you pick a square, you can only pick another square next to it. No diagonals, just north, south, east, west. So, at the beginning of the year, went through, I planned out my route, knowing that I probably won't finish the challenge. I usually play about 12 games a year currently. A lot of that is because I started doom scrolling on my phone and watching a lot more YouTube. And the other thing is about halfway through the year, I always get tired and I kind of stop doing a lot. Also, I play World of Warcraft and I raid in it's an AOTC guild. It's not competitive by any circumstances, but I'm a fairly good raider. So I have responsibilities outside of that. Usually I have to gear grind and do my reputations and all my dailies and do Mythic Plus and things like that. It just so happened that we finished Heroic Dimensius in December, I believe. And since then we've been on break from raiding entirely. So the last 3 months I've had nothing to do. Midnight just released a couple days ago as of this recording. So that probably tells you exactly what day it is, or close to it. And now I'm back on that gear grind and stuff. But before then, I had a lot of time on my hands to just kind of do whatever I wanted. And I literally didn't log into World of Warcraft at all. So, I got a lot of games out of my backlog out of the way because of this challenge. I've also added another rule to this challenge where I can only use games that I have already on my backlog or were like bought for me as a birthday present or something like that. Like I can't go out and buy a game to finish a challenge. So there's actually a couple challenges in here where like I was thinking about buying a game anyhow. And I probably would count those if that was the case, but like I was thinking about buying a game for that spot because I was like, oh, that would be a really great thing, and then I decided against it. So, because of the challenge. So let's start here. So the first square I actually completed was a square. Let me actually pull up the document too. I don't even have the document set up, and I'm sorry if you can hear it in the background. Where's my board? Okay, so my first square was called soft copy, and it was beat a game you own digitally. Your first two squares were either beat a game digitally or beat a game physically. This year I have been really into the idea of also finishing a lot of my Steam backlog, so you'll see a lot of that coming up. A lot of our Let's Plays are going to be on the computer. It's easier for me to record right now because my desk is an absolute disaster. It's just full of trading cards and all sorts of other crap. So, but I figured I'd start easy. I wanted to get like one game on the board right away. And so I picked Emily's Away 3. I've had this game in my backlog for a little while, about a year. I think I bought it during the Stream Summer Sale last year after I'd beaten a bunch of games. I kind of let myself go crazy. The Emily Away franchise is actually this weird thing that I actually really enjoy. It's this nostalgia, like, just, you just type on your keyboard and there's like a story that comes up and you pick prompts and things like that. It's just a little indie game. The third game actually was at PAX East the last time I went, and I didn't get to go to their booth, which was really upsetting to me. But this game the game series usually focus on AOL. This one actually goes to Facebook. So it's that like early days of Facebook that everyone was on. There was poking. There wasn't any of this AI bullshit or any of that. Um, and that's the game is you are reliving your high school experience or the character's high school experience through Facebook chats. The game was fun. Like I said, it was a little hint of nostalgia. It's only about 3 hours, so it's not that long. And the ending, there's multiple endings to it. I kind of saw my ending coming a mile away. However, I loved the little playlist that got given to me and played. In the end, it was really funny, objectively. So, it was really good. Kind of middle of the road for me. I don't think it was like the best game I've played so far this year, but it wasn't the worst. It was like a good like starting point to just kind of get me on track. And what's weird about that is because I did this game first, it kind of started me really on a good foot of like trying to finish a game every week. And it wasn't like legitimately every week, but it was close to it. So, actually, it's kind of looking like I'm on that same track again now that I'm looking at it. Wow. Um, so the next game I played was Uncharted Lost Legacy. I played it to fulfill the next square down, which was Beta Break. Beat a game that has climbing mechanics. Uncharted, of course, is a climbing game, right? This was the first, or this was the last Uncharted game that I had left to play. And I was kind of a little upset playing it because I was like, God, this is just so good, and I wish there was more Uncharted games or more Tomb Raider games. I also think that like Uncharted Lost Legacy would have been really great as a co-op game, but couch co-op for some reason just wasn't a thing. They like got rid of it essentially, and so now you know we have games that like should be co-op. They would be great co-op games, and they just didn't have co-op. Uh, Uncharted Lost Legacy is also one of those games that kind of released during that weird period where they were releasing full games that were originally supposed to be DLCs. So this game was originally supposed to be a DLC for Uncharted 4. And I think it's probably one of the best Uncharted games that they've actually created. So, it's about Chloe and God, I can't remember the other girl. Anyway, oh, Nadine. Nadine, yeah. So it's Chloe and Nadine. They're traveling to find an ancient civilization, the nice Uncharted stuff. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I argue it's the perfect length game. Like, just as you're starting to go, okay, the wave system and everything else that comes with an Uncharted, like, you go into a room and then a whole bunch of guys come and get you. Like, this is starting to get stale. Just as it's starting to be like, okay, I'm kind of sick of this, boom, it's over. All done. So really great game. I really enjoyed it a lot. I might actually go back to play it again just for fun. Um, but I'm glad I played it. A lot of people do platinum in those games. I don't know if I'm going to platinum it, but it was a lot of fun. And then the next game I played after that is actually our next Let's Play. Because at the time I think I'm going to be releasing this, Life is Strange should be finishing up. And so I actually recorded our next Let's Play before that even finished recording. And that is What Remains of Edith Finch. I played this for the Square Unarmed, where I need to beat a first person game where the protagonist has no attacks or weapons. Uh, and it was a really cute game. I understand now why my brother really likes it, and I understand why most people really like this game. So, it's about Edith Finch Jr. coming back and talking about her family legacy and everything that's involved with it. Actually, I don't even think it's Edith Finch. I think it's no, I think it's Edith. I don't know. Either way, it's about someone coming back to their family's history and seeing how kind of twisted their family history is. They're cursed that everyone will die in that family. It's a little heavy, especially as someone who has lost a lot of family members in their lifetime, specifically on one side of the family. Um, yeah, it's a little heavy, but it was really, really good. And like the storytelling was very unique, as that each section had a different mechanic that you had to learn. And it wasn't just like go to a spot and be talked to. It was one of those like you go to a spot, you open up the book, and then you hear about this person's life just a little at a time, but you also witness the point of their death or close to it. Uh, Highly recommended. I heard it's a very easy platinum. If you're one of those like PlayStation people, I played it on Steam, and I really, really enjoyed it a lot. I'll probably go back and play it again at some point. Um, but yeah, no, I really, really like this game. It was actually really hard to Let's Play it because I was so engrossed with the storytelling and like how just visually engaging it was. I think my favorite story of all of them was the comic book one. Just because it was just so fucking silly. I was like laughing the entire time while playing it, knowing that like someone's gonna die here, but it was just so silly in the way that they were doing it. I was like, yeah, okay. Like I can be okay with this. And then my final game for January was Super Mario 3D Land, which I played for the for the Square It's a Me cameo, to beat a game with Mario in it, even if it's just a cameo. So, why did I pick Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS? It's not because the 3DS is getting a big resurgence, though I have been playing my 3DS more, not because everyone else is doing it. It's just like the system I have on hand that I wanted to play. But I wanted to pick a game that was really easy. Like I said, well, when I say easy, I mean close to being done, right? My goals were to try to get ahead as possible in the challenge, so that when WoW kicked back in again and that inevitable like lazy summer feel kicked back in again, I was already ahead in the challenge and I was already in a good spot. So when I first started playing 3D Land back in early college, so it was like 2010 when it came out, I don't know why. I'm smart, right? Like, I have 2 degrees. I know I'm a very smart individual. For some reason, I was the most stupidest fucking kid on the planet playing this game. I remember raging at this 3DS game when I was in, like, theater practice. And when I picked my copy back up again and my save file back up again, I was two worlds away from finishing the game. But what had stopped me and what had made me quit playing the game was I had to go back and get more coins to open up the level. I think I needed like 60 coins, and I only needed 2 more. And for some reason, I remember distinctly, I could not find them to save my life. And I was like so upset and so angry. I was just like, fuck this game. And I just put it in the shelf, never came back to it. It's kind of haunted me that I like got defeated by a Mario game, and so like I went back to this knowing, hey, we're right on the cusp of finishing it. Let's just get it out of the way. If it's as bad as I think it is, we'll just it's good. It goes on the shelf. I never see it again. And if it's good, then I had a good time. I'm glad I finished it. Blah blah blah. So I picked it up one night. Took me only like a couple hours to beat it. And why it took me a couple hours to beat it was I actually was having so much fun going back to the different levels that I was collecting a whole bunch of coins and stuff like that. However, I do think this game kind of runs a little bit long. Like, even in those 2 or 3 hours, I was like having fun playing the old levels. But when I started getting to the new levels, I was like, okay, yeah. Yeah, I played these levels before, whatever. Like, here's all the coins. And I was collecting a lot of coins, but like that final boss was a little long. I really liked the gold tanuki. I don't know why I had a problem with it as a kid. And when I mean a kid, I mean like early adult. Because like it does kind of help when you're like, hey, I just want to finish this game or I just want to play. Having the ability to be immune to everything was really, really nice, especially that final boss. I like died so many times at the very end of that run, and then the gold tanuki popped up, and I was like, oh, cool, I can just trip over the finish line now. This is great. Bowser can't hurt me. So, like, it's not my favorite Mario game. It's not the best Mario game, but it definitely did get redeemed. I think if they did another one, like, on the Switch, I probably would buy it. I do agree. One of the hosts of Polykill actually responded to my Blue Sky message and said that he thought it was one of the most underrated Mario games out there, and I kind of do agree. I think if you have a 3DS or you're looking for something to play on the 3DS that you didn't before, this is actually a pretty good game to like get. It's not like Super Mario 64 or Sunshine or even for its faults, the Gravity one. Galaxy. There you go. I didn't really like Galaxy. I didn't like it for the live system though, because I think lives are very outdated. But I think Super Mario 3D Land is still a good, solid choice if you're looking for something to play. Yeah, I suggest going back and playing it. So that was my January. Two middle of the road games and two really great games. And at that point, I'd realized, I'd been basically beating a game a week. That's kind of cool, so I'm going to keep this up. So in February comes, and I hit my first roadblock. I really didn't want to do the square. I was really annoyed by the square, and it was the Out of This World square. Beat a game that takes place on a planet that's certainly not Earth, so Mega Earth, Dark Earth, Super Earth don't count. So I had a choice between a couple of games. There's a square that I'm going to be working on soon that's a Star Wars square, but I certainly have more than enough Star Wars games that I could have done a Star Wars game here. Instead, what I decided to do was kind of tackle one of my demons, and I picked Borderlands, the first one on the Xbox 360. I for some reason was really dreading this square too. Like, there's been a couple squares I've come to where I'm like, I don't really want to do it. Should I reroute everything? Blah blah blah. And then I just end up doing it. And this was like the first square I came to where I felt like that. And I think part of it is that Borderlands itself has a history with me. Again, back to back, I had two games where I was like really fucking stupid as a young adult gamer. I don't know what happened to me. Like, what brain cells I lost while buried under textbooks. But, like, I just struggled playing Borderlands 1. I still have my original save file. I was playing Mordecai, the bird guy. I think he was Mordecai. And I was playing the bird guy. And I got up to that first boss in that first area that would have let you go to the next area. And I just could not get to him. I level grinded. I did everything I could to get to this guy and to kill him. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't beat the boss. Couldn't do the quest. So frustrated. So this time around, I decided to pick the soldier, Roland, and I decided to just restart my save from scratch. Because I figured if I was so close to the beginning anyhow, I might as well just restart the entire game over again. See if maybe I was doing something stupid with like the talent system or something like that, and I'll just rebuild it back together. And I had a really great time playing. I can understand now why people really like Borderlands. It kind of satisfied that like Diablo, World of Warcraft, loot and shooting like thing. I was like getting all sorts of achievements. I might go back and like get more achievements one day. But, like that's a game to just sit and play for hours just for fun. But I was going crazy. I cleared out an entire area of side quests. I like explored everything I could. I was gathering guns. My one complaint, which is probably a normal complaint for most people with Borderlands 1, was that I got two or three legendary items and I just couldn't use any of them. They were not as good as the guns I was wearing. And I just didn't see a whole lot of like crazy good loot. There was like some guns that I carried from like halfway through the game all the way to the end of the game because they were just much better than whatever I played with. So that was my one complaint, but like I had so much fun playing. I was sad when I finished. I thought about picking up Borderlands 2 and just starting to play Borderlands 2, but I was like, no, no, no. We'll wait on that. Plus my Borderlands 2 is on the PlayStation 3 and I have to wait until I can get that fixed. But yeah, really enjoyed Borderlands 2. I'm really glad that I went back and played it. This is the first time that I've been really happy that I've gone back and played a game and ended up really liking it. So thank you for the challenge for that. The next game after that, or the next square after that, was best thumbs in the game. A little context to this. So the square is beat a game. Show your hand giving a thumbs up or thumbs down in your beat tweet photo. So they use Blue Sky now, so it's not Twitter anymore. But we still call it tweets because that's how the world works. So there's one person, one listener who, in all of his beat tweets or beat skeets or whatever you want to call it, he always puts a thumbs up and then writes about his game. And so they made a square for him. So basically, this is a free square. I get to do whatever I want. There's a couple of those in this list that I'll hit eventually. This is my first one. And I decided to play Before Your Eyes on the Steam. My brother gave it to me for Christmas. So I've only had it in my backlog for a little while, but he has been like, why haven't you played it? You need to play this right now. You have to play this right now. You gotta go play it. And I was like, he also didn't want me to play it that close to What Remains of Edith Finch because I guess these two games are his favorite, and I can understand why. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a couple games and I'll go back and I'll play it. And so this was like kind of the perfect slot for it. It was a 3 hour experience on a Sunday morning when it was just me in the house. Or no, it was a Monday morning. It was President's Day. Just me in the house. I got up early, got my coffee. I sat down and down in the game room where my laptop is, and I played Before Your Eyes. And it's been a while since I've bawled so hard. I'm not gonna spoil the story. I think because it's a 3 hour experience, it's definitely worth it. I also think it's worth it to play with the eye camera on. Especially when there's a couple points where they want you to keep your eyes open and you are like mentally in the back of your head like screaming to be able to close your eyes. And you just have to keep them open because you have to see what's inside. And it was just a very moving experience. I can understand. I messaged my brother after. I'm like, I can understand now why you really like this game. So far, top of the list. I think if you're looking for a small experience, a short indie experience, this is definitely very much worth it to go and buy. Um, Again, it's only about 3 hours, so you can like take a afternoon to play it. Definitely. So the next game I finished in February was Mario Kart World. I also picked this up for the Polykill Challenge. But Mario Kart World. I originally wasn't gonna get it at all. Was really frustrated that this game was $80. Do I think this game is worth $80? No. I don't think it's worth $80 if you're just gonna play it for the kart races and then that's it. It's only worth it if you're gonna be playing with friends and family and a whole bunch of other people. And it's gonna be something you return to for a while. As an avid Mario Kart fan, I think this is the best the racing has ever felt in the series. But I touched the open world very briefly and never went back. This also includes all the kart costumes and stuff like that. I haven't even gone back to collect any of those. I didn't find anything satisfying with them. Again, I think the racing itself has felt the best it's ever been. But when you're playing on your own in single player style, you do one race fully, and then basically after that you always drive to the next race and you do one wrap of the next track, and it's kind of disappointing. I don't mind if they shuffle that one style, you drive all the way to that next track, but then shuffle it in. Don't make it only that. So the square that I did was if you ain't first, you're last, which is just to beat a racing game. Alright, let's talk about Pokemon Gold. I revisited Pokemon Gold. Mostly I had revisited it, starting about a year ago, or last year, just because I wanted to play a Pokemon game, and I just decided I was going to play that one, on my 3DS, because I had the Virtual Console thing. I had purchased it back when the Virtual Console was going out. I wanted to have Pokemon Gold so I could get Celebi and all that stuff, so I'd bought that. I also thought it was the perfect time to finish it because I needed it for another square in the Polykill Challenge, which is Nintendo, beat a game published and developed by Nintendo. Again, Pokemon is always published by Nintendo, so it's kind of an easy win there. This time I started with my favorite starter until Fuecoco came out, which is Totodile. Weirdly enough, when I first played Generation 2, I did not have, I started with Cyndaquil. And now, I was like, well, I really want to try Feraligatr. I'd never played with Feraligatr before. And yeah, so that's what I did. I just think that little Totodile the little gator is just the cutest little thing on the planet. And yeah, so always good quality. Can't complain about Pokemon Gold. My next game after that was Life is Strange Double Exposure. And I played it for the square. Again, a lot of Polykill games. The square was Sorry I'm Awkward. Beat a game that lets you choose the dialogue option. Of course, Life is Strange is perfect for this because you're really just following along with the narrative and making some choices from there. What can I say about Double Exposure? I, going into this, did not expect it to be good. I did not expect it to have, for me to have as much fun as I did with it. Mostly because, the talk outside of YouTube was in YouTube and stuff was it's okay, it's not Life is Strange, it feels like a cash grab, blah, 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 blah. And I really liked True Colors, I love Before the Storm, and I love Life is Strange 1. So I was really excited to see Max again. Upset Chloe wasn't there. But I was really excited to see Max again and find out what she'd been up to. Turns out, I was so in love with this game, I just could not put it down. I think there was one night I was towards the end of the game, and I stayed up 2 hours past my bedtime to beat it because there was no way I was not going to finish that game. I also happened to finish this at the perfect moment where Reunion was coming out 2 weeks later. I still haven't picked it up, but Reunion was coming out 2 weeks later. So if I wanted to, it was the perfect time to just back to back play them. And I still want to go back. I still want to play that, but it's more of going out there and buying it and the cost of it and stuff. And life is expensive as it is. But if you are a Life is Strange fan, you really liked Life is Strange 1, and you really liked Before the Storm, I highly suggest giving Double Exposure a shot. Go in there with a clean slate. Don't expect anything from the game. Just let the game take you along, and you'll have a good time. Is it a little hokey? Yes. Uh honestly, I feel like the game is somewhat, it's like uncanny in a way. Like someone wrote a fanfic about what happened to Chloe and Max afterwards. Does it have its problems? Yes. Um there were a couple times when I was like playing the game, I was like, this could be a little bit better. Um However, I think the story is still pretty worth playing. And I like how it kind of sets up Chloe's return if you kill Chloe in the end of Life is Strange, or she comes to join you if you didn't kill her at the end of Life is Strange. And it kind of, sets up another game and hopefully like finish this and really expand the world of Life is Strange. I also think it kind of explains some things, or like tries to allude to explaining to some things that are like a little weird about the world, like that there are so many different superpowers and stuff. It tries to explain some of that, or that like kind of connect everything together, which I think is really cool. So I'm really intrigued to see what Reunion brings. Probably will play that this year. But yeah, Life is Strange, Double Exposure. I do recommend this game. So if you can find a copy of it, go play it. It really is good. I am seeing a screw up on my little sheet that I need to update. But the next thing I did was two back-to-back games. I had to. This was another square I had to do. This is the last square that I had in Q1 for the Polykill Challenge, which was Hello Goodbye. To beat the first and the last game of a trilogy. I think this was the first square in my Polykill challenge this year that I was dreading coming up to, because I don't like playing games out of order. I really like playing games like in the order that they come in, even if you can totally get away with it. And I was also in this kind of like funk where like I just wanted to beat games. I didn't want to spend too long playing something longer. Originally for the square, I had thought maybe I'd do Crash and do Crash 1 and 3, because that's kind of something you can kind of get away with, and then play Crash 2, or I'd play 1, 2, and 3 in order. Instead, I was looking and I realized that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, the Cowabunga collection, had a trilogy of Game Boy games that I hadn't played yet. And I was like, that could be very quick. And according to howlongtobeat.com, they were both about like 2 hours long. So I was like, that's just an afternoon. Sorry, you can hear the AC unit in the background. I'm not shutting it off. Actually, I'll go shut it off. Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. Alright, it's been fixed. I'm gonna have to turn it off or turn it back on in a little bit because it is very hot outside today. So anyways, so I decided that was the route I was gonna go. Is I was gonna play these two Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, kind of finish two more for my Cowabunga collection. So I finished the first one, which was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Fall of the Foot Clan. That one I gave. No, that one I did beat legitimately. Because they're on the Cowabunga collection, you can get rewind powers. So anytime I hit like a mob and I would die, I would just rewind and go again. So it took me about like I think it did take me about 2 hours to get all the way to the end and beat the boss. But every once in a while, I'd rewind, go back, do it again. And when I mean once in a while, I mean a lot. Um, so yeah, I did a lot of rewinding there, but that's okay. The second game I beat was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Radical Rescue, which I kind of was unprepared for what that game was. It's a Metroidvania, but it's an old school Game Boy Metroidvania, so there's not a whole lot of saving because they didn't have save batteries for cartridges like that. And it's just very difficult. That game is rough. So I started to play it legitimately with rewind function. And then I was like, I just kind of want to finish this and move on. So I used a cheat code to go all the way to the end. And the final section of the end is just a boss gauntlet. And so I did the boss gauntlet with rewind. The last boss took me about an hour to figure out how to beat, and I did it. I finished the game. Um, yeah. Was it a little scummy that I didn't go through the entire game? Yes, but I think after the first hour or two, I realized this wasn't for me. If I want to go back to it and play it legit, I can, because it's actually not that long of a game. In theory, I just didn't want to put the time into it. I didn't want to put the effort into it at that point, and I just kind of wanted to beat the game and move on. And I still had to kind of do it. I still had to kind of beat the last couple of bosses anyways. I just couldn't. I just didn't do them legitimately. In terms of getting all the way there and then beating them. Um, so not my favorite of all the games here. I think these games will probably rank the lowest. Again, I only really beat them for the polykill challenge, so then I was able to move on. Funny enough, that's the last couple of squares that I did for the challenge. Even now, I'm kind of in this weird funk with the gaming challenge where I'd like to move on. I've done one of the squares recently. However, I had some issues with the square I did do, and it's kind of thrown off my entire groove since. But I did finish two other games that are not part of the Polykill Challenge that I do want to talk about. The first one was Mario Kart Super Circuit. I did the virtual console version on the 3DS. I had never played Super Circuit before, and being a Mario Kart fanatic, I was like, I really want to play this game. Originally, this was the game I wanted to play for the if you're not first, you're last square, but I didn't beat it fast enough, and Mario Kart World just kind of fit the square better. But I still wanted to finish it, so I really just kind of concentrated real hard, kind of got it done, and yeah, that game is really fucking hard, dude. I started as Yoshi. Found on the 3DS I was having a lot of hard time controlling the characters. Switched to Bowser to see if a heavier character would be easier to control. Still had a hard time controlling characters, so I eventually went to Mario. I don't play Mario. I don't like playing as Mario usually, but Mario got me that win. So I did finish Super Circuit again. I don't know if I'll go back to it anytime soon. It might be something I goof around with, but it was fun to see another Mario Kart that I hadn't seen before. I only have one other Mario Kart that I've never finished and unlocked everything for, and that is the Mario Kart in the SNES. So that will be on my list at some point. And then the final game in Q1 that I beat it at the very end of March, was Life is Strange Remastered. And as you all know, I had a Let's Play going on the channel for it. That Let's Play had been going on for about a year. I had recorded the first video in November of 2024, and then life kind of jumped out at me. It's really hard to hear in the second episode, but what had happened was right after I had recorded the first episode, I think about 2 weeks later, I got a call from my mom who had gotten diagnosed with breast cancer, which started a very long adventure of getting her chemo and getting her treatment and going through all that and finding out it's hereditary, so doing all of that testing, and it was a lot. And the last time I had played Life is Strange, a Life is Strange game, was Before the Storm, and it was right around the time that I had finished college. and was kind of in that weird slump of like you're trying to find a job and you don't know what to do with your life because you were used to the structure of school and now you're trying to get used to the structure of going to work every day and being an adult and not really having that school structure you're used to. So, like, it was like that weird loop again happening where like I had started a Life is Strange game and I just kind of felt lost in that moment. And finally, when like everything kind of slowed down, I was like, I need to get back to that Let's Play and I need to finish it. So finally finishing that game just felt like closing another chapter in a book that took really long time to read. But we finally did it. And I feel really good about it. Um, was it the best Let's Play on this, like, that we'll ever do on the channel? No, definitely not. That was a terrible Let's Play in terms of, like, audio quality and video quality and all sorts of stuff that I learned. Will I eventually do a remaster of it? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I do want to do Before the Storm, but Before the Storm's going to be another time. However, I am happy that I like finished it and I put it out and it's out in the world now. And yeah, we did it. I think if I ever had to take this channel to like an ad place, then I might have to redo that Let's Play again. But for now, it's kind of like a historical moment in my channel and in my life that like I set out to do this project and I finished this project. Uh, did I play another Let's Play in between to finish that one first? Technically, yes, but you know it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that was it. So those were all the games that I finished in Q1 of 2026. I played a lot of video games, like a lot, and Q2 has looked like it slowed down quite a bit. At the time of recording, I can tell you I finished 2 games. I might be finishing a third soon, but definitely not to the scale that I was playing and beating games last month. So, there's a lot to do, a lot to keep going on, but, you know, we're just surviving one moment at a time. And, you guys get to hear it all with me. So, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the content and, or the video. I hope this kind of inspires you to beat more games or your games and talk about them with me because I am addicted to listening to other people talk about their games and what they've been playing. So, yeah, let me know what I should play next and look forward to hearing from you guys all soon. Peace. Thanks for watching the video. If you like this video, please subscribe and like and hype and do all the fun stuff. Stick around because there's definitely more coming to the channel. If you like Pokemon content, Let's Play content, and World of Warcraft content, feel free to stick around and subscribe. There is a video that YouTube thinks is the best next watch for you, and here at the below is the playlist to the video you just watched. Maybe you like some more content kind of like that. Thanks for watching. Bye.